Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Down in the Valley for episode number 16. We are talking about today about this past game that we actually had last weekend with RGV going to Seattle, actually to Tacoma, if you want to be precise, and playing against Seattle Sounders 2. And then today we're going to be playing against Portland Timbers 2. So basically we're on the Pacific Northwest tour. And then they'll be coming back the week for not this week, but the following week, back home at HB Park for Orange County. We'll be talking all about that. We'll be talking a lot more things. We actually have today, we are accompanied by Sean Rignos from the Houston Soccer Power Hour. It feels so weird.
I know, it's a weird title right now, so we're in the process.
Yeah. It's a work in process, but we're happy to have him here. And as always, you can go ahead and call us. The phone lines will be open for you all to give your opinions on RGVFC. What do you think of it so far? Should we be worried about the lack of results?
Yes.
That have been happening.
Was that a rhetorical question?
That's for the fans that are listening to us right now. So if you guys want to go ahead and give us your thoughts, go ahead and call us at 956-622-5977. Once again, 956-622-5977. I have actually fixed Skype now, so we should be good to go live this time. For those who want to give their opinions. But before we start, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to my friends at the Beautiful Game Network. Be sure to follow them on Twitter at the BGNFM. check out their website as well. The website is www.bgn.fm. While you're there, check out all of the other podcasts that we have available, mostly USL. We have Sock Takes, who, by the way, Nipun Chopran, I know I probably messed up his name, I'm sorry, but he, from Sock Takes, came out with a really interesting article that has to do with the fact about how much money, these Division Two owners are losing, trying to run the operations for these teams. Also go ahead and check out the Back Chat Show and other USL podcasts. While you're there as well, be sure to follow us down in the valley. Follow us on Twitter at Down in the RGV if you haven't done so already. Be sure to check out our podcasts when they go live on Soundcloud, Stitcher, Google Play Store, and iTunes. So, having said that, let's go ahead and start with today's show. So, Sean, first of all, how are you?
Dying in this Houston allergy season known as hell. But other than that, I'm great. I said as I start coughing.
Yeah, allergies are never fun.
No, and this crap outside is just killing me. I mean, and it's going to be lingering for another few days before we get another good rain Saturday. So I've got 3-4 days ahead of me of dealing with it. But today's been a good day. Otherwise, it's been a good couple of days, really. But I really want to talk about this USL ESPN Plus thing, broadcast right thing, because I'm intrigued. But at the same time, you know how I am. I'm one of those people that my first reaction is we're not getting the whole story, especially when a journalist is writing the story.
Yes,
because they're looking for the angle that makes the story get eyeballs to their
the
article. And so, I wonder what part of the story we're not hearing from them, from USL teams in general. This feels like something that Bert Garcia would be a good person to be able to get some info from, type thing.
Yes.
But good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I can give it a try. I'm sure he's always said that he has an open door policy. So I'm sure
that would be testing open door for sure.
Yeah. The question is, is he willing to give out that information so easily on the record for the most part?
Well, and the question, I mean, it's all about how you approach it too. I mean, if you're not looking to, if you're looking to help clubs in USL in general, explain why the deal isn't as bad as Chopper made it look to be, then I have a feeling he would probably jump all over that opportunity. And that's what I suspect is he found something that he was like, oh man, this is terrible. And in reality, there's more to the story that makes it not nearly as bad as he seems to think it is, type of thing.
Yeah, so we'll go into more detail about that later on. I actually did want to talk about, let's focus on the ESPN Plus, since that's something that, that I did have, some experience with it last weekend. And honestly, I don't know how you all feel that are watching or listening to this stream, but I was actually pleasantly surprised about how good of a quality the streams were. We did not really have any times where the stream went down or things like that. It was very, very well organized, and it's not as bad as Go 90. And I'm just being very, very, very.
Well, we talked about that a little bit last night. ESPN's infrastructure in terms of servers and authentication and things like that is a lot more solid than Go 90's ever will be. And they have a lot more. They put in the resources to build this, is what they did.
Yes.
This is built on the Watch ESPN or ESPN3 backbone, which they had already started building out that infrastructure, and that infrastructure was solid as well.
Yes.
And so all they've done is they've just taken that and and unlike Go 90, where they don't have an automated scaling platform, ESPN Plus has an automated scaling platform.
Yeah.
So when they start to get enough viewers, they trigger the next servers and the next servers and the next servers. So they're only paying for what they actually spin up at any given time in terms of servers. But at the same time, they're doing it in a way that if they don't need a bunch of extra servers, they're not paying extra money, which is how they can afford to do some of the lower level sports and some of the lower tier sports in general, like cricket and rugby and probably equestrian, and I'm trying to think of other sports that would be in golf.
Was it the Indian Soccer League? I think it's on there.
Super League. Oh man, there's so many outlier leagues.
And here's the other awesome part that I really enjoy from the ESPN app and ESPN Plus. So not only can you watch the games from the USL there, but you can actually receive notifications of like, let's say you don't have a time to actually watch the game, but you want notifications on your phone if somebody has scored a goal, if somebody has been carded, if substitutions, and all those notifications, you can get that.
Yeah.
You can actually set the RGV Toros as your favorite team, so they'll have priority of the notifications that you'll get, whether it's news, whether it's video highlights and everything like that. I love it. I think you get what you pay for, just with USL.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing with ESPN Plus. They had to make it a platform that it would appeal to a large audience in a lot of different ways, but they also had to make it appeal in terms of it had to appeal beyond just the USL season, and I feel like they've done that. There's enough content there. There's enough. If you can't find something to watch on ESPN Plus, then it's a holiday. Like, that's the only reason there wouldn't be anything on. Because that lineup for just the first 2 days, I haven't looked at it. I haven't subscribed yet. I'm planning to. I just haven't. But it like that lineup was just.
I think today's the last day to get
the free month. I don't know about the free month. I know I'm going to have it, so what do I care?
And here's another good thing. So I think somebody posted on Twitter a picture. I'm guessing they were using the Apple thing
Apple TV or Roku. I think it was Apple TV.
It was Apple TV.
Was it the goalkeeper Jason down in or not Jason, the goalkeeper Phil up in Philly?
I'm not sure, but what I did see was that somebody posted where he had 4 screens at once of all USL, and I think it was actually one of the writers for the USL, and he had.
Oh, maybe it was Chris Hockman.
I think it was him.
Yeah, it was Chris.
Yeah. And he mentioned that even with the 4 screens on, it was smooth.
Yeah,
they had no problems with it as well. And now they actually added Roku to the mix.
Yep.
So it's expanding. So it's simple once you get the hang of it to find the live streams. It's simple to use.
Well, we'll be able to give a really valid opinion on it since we'll be watching the Toros tonight on it.
Yes.
On our TV, so we'll be scaling it up, which will be interesting.
Yeah. And the only thing that I kind of noticed about it, yes, it does mention that ESPN Plus as the platform is full HD capable. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these teams right now have not upgraded their camera systems to full HD.
Yep.
So we're not really seeing the video quality to its full potential.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the things I noticed. But yet, even then, it still looked better. As far as, like, for example, there wasn't any anti-aliasing, from the video compared to the YouTube stream.
Yeah.
Because from what I hear, YouTube considerably downgrades the quality to be able to be streamed.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. You would know this if you're watching live.
I look all pixelated. All right, so we actually have some people in the chat. So Javier, my dad, says, if Toros don't get a victory today, I definitely will be worried, and I will turn on the red lights myself. Yeah, honestly.
I'll concur with that. I think that's fair.
And Carson.
I'm gonna throw. I wouldn't say victory, but they need to show. Because the thing is, it's a road match, and I know the whole thought process is they need a victory regardless, but it's a road match. If they come out and they look like they deserve to win it, and they draw, I can accept that as long as they're showing potency in the offense, as long as they're showing solid defensive work. They could come out and dominate for 80 minutes, and if they give up 1 goal and that ends up in a draw, I can accept that. And
Yeah.
hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
I can accept that, and I'm willing to give them another week to show me that they can keep that consistency. I know that sounds really weird, but again, you have to remember it's a step up from last season, regardless at this point.
But the problem I'm seeing is that, I mean, we're seeing a huge improvement as far as the attacking quality of this team. The fact is, it's like it's been consistent throughout these games that we've had so far, is that we cannot seem to keep a result going.
Yeah.
We've been winning, and then
Well, I'm talking. So let me rephrase it. I'm talking about if we come back and level it at in stoppage time type of thing, as opposed to RGV being up in the score line, scoring the goal early, and then just maintaining the lead for 80 minutes and then giving up a tying goal.
Yes.
I'm just referring to if they score late to tie it, then that's an acceptable draw. That's an acceptable result. That's all I'm saying is.
So they come from behind.
There are some draws that are acceptable. There are some wins that win regardless is going to be acceptable. But there are some draws that would be acceptable in this case. That's all I'm saying.
Just kind of want to take a little break. So the Chicago Red Stars it's the 36th minute, and they're already beating the Dash 2-0.
Can Leo come back?
Yeah, but anyway, it's one of the things I was talking to my dad. Like I kind of hinted yesterday during the Soccer Power Hour, is that I kind of feel like, yes, as far as like the individual pieces, they look so much better, but it's the childish mistakes in the midfield, especially in losing the ball, that have cost us so much. And I talked to you yesterday how the defenses look good, but those mistakes kind of expose them.
Yeah.
And
we talked about it yesterday in light of as well. They really need a veteran presence in the attack. Just somebody, and it doesn't have to be somebody who's on the pitch for the full 90, but somebody who's on the pitch for the last 15, 20 minutes when the Toros are most likely to concede a goal because mental fatigue and everything like that.
Yes.
When you have a veteran on the pitch, players, especially young players, they listen, they respect, they are willing to take advice. A lot of times that leadership, because Connor Donovan can provide that leadership, but he can only provide that leadership along the back line and for the goalkeeper. That's really as far as his, and maybe your D-mids, maybe, and that's pushing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody in the attack is able to mentally check in those midfielders that need to track back. Look, hey guys, we got 10 minutes, we got 15 minutes left to go. I'm going to run my ass off for these 15 minutes. I expect you to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm 35. If I can run 15 minutes, you can run another 15.
And we talked about yesterday as well, when you asked me about, who is the most, I guess you can say, experienced member in the attack line, and it was Victor Garza.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a guy who's my age, 26 years old.
Makes you feel old, doesn't it? Sorry.
No, honestly, it makes me feel like I have done nothing with my life, because he's out there playing the game that he loves, and I'm just here talking about it on a podcast. But what I'm
doing better than 90% of the population.
Well, you know what they say. But what I'm trying to get is like, yes, he does have more experience. He's got Libertadores experience. He's got Liga de Ascenso experience. He's got European experience. But you cannot compare. It's not easy for a player that young per se to have that leadership role and have these younger guys listen to him.
Absolutely.
Compared to somebody who is 30, 35 that who's had so much more experience, and so they know, like, oh, he's been through a lot, he knows what he's talking about. And whereas with Victor, it's kind of more like, well, you're almost my age, and like you're kind of like me, even though he's got more experience. So hopefully in the summer window, the Dynamo can kind of look at that.
If you roll your eyes any harder, they're going to fall out of your head. When you said that, you rolled your eyes really hard. Just saying.
Well, it's kind of like asking for a miracle, because the Dynamo's going to look out for themselves first.
Of course.
And so I think the only
they're the moneymakers. I mean, why have to say that out loud?
Oh, really? When we can't even fill our own stadiums?
They're still making money. They're the fifth highest valued franchise in MLS, and they're the 25th highest valued sports franchise in all of the U.S.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that Forbes releases it
Which
once a
is
year.
surprising considering how the team has been run. But that's for another Soccer Power Hour.
I've always
episode.
said Chris Kennedy's a really good business guy, but when it comes to sports, he knows nothing.
So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the actual game between RGV.
Yeah, weren't we supposed to be previewing the match that comes up at 9:30?
We'll leave that till the end.
Okay.
Because that way we actually get a chance. Maybe they'll release the actual lineups for this game.
Nah, they'll release that like 10 minutes before the match.
Well, that is true. But yeah, okay. So today, RGV is, like I said, they're gonna go to Portland, and they're gonna be playing Portland 2, who surprisingly, and this has been for the beginning of the season, the two teams, not counting LA Galaxy 2, which has always been a dumpster fire, have been doing good in the beginning of the season. Seattle 2, Portland 2. Who else? Real Monarchs has been doing good as well.
Craig White was a damn good.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. So we're gonna go over there, and right now
we're going over there. We're flying there right now.
Yeah,
Dude,
no,
you didn't tell me about that. Whoa.
Dude, we have a time machine.
Oh damn.
Okay, so right now, Timbers 2 is actually in 10th place. Compared to last year where they were like fighting for last positions. So right now they're in 10th place. They have played 5 games. They have 7 goals in favor, and it looks like 6 goals against.
Okay.
And then,
but they have Welta on their team right now, don't they?
I believe so. And so they have 7 points in total. In comparison, right now the Toros are in 14th place with 4 games played. We have 6 goals in favor, 2 and 8 goals against.
You know what hurts looking at that? You look at Sounders FC 2 and their goal differential, and you look at Oklahoma City and their goal differential, and you look at San Antonio FC and their goal differential, and our goal differential is better than theirs.
But
and yet and you know what that just tells me is we're giving away cheap goals in really bad spots. Is exactly what that tells me, like last minute goals, because it means that it means that you're losing by 1 goal when you lose, and you're not winning is also what that tells me is you're drawing and you're losing by a goal here and there. So it makes sense, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, Sounders, like you look at Sounders too, we should have beat them. Just take a look at they have 8 goals in favor, 12 goals against, which means that their defense isn't that great. And we scored 2 against them, but they scored 3 on us.
Yeah.
So that is very, very that's very, very worrisome. At least for me, that these childish mistakes. You can't really do anything about it.
4 matches into the season?
4 matches, yes.
I think it's a little early.
You really think so?
I do. 4 matches is really early. Like with the Dynamo, I'm giving them. We're 6 weeks in. I'm still giving them 1 or 2 more matches, and then I'm going to make my statement declaration of where we're at. Because 4 matches, I mean, that's.
It's been 2 at home and 2 away. Today is going to be the 5th match.
Yeah.
And it's going to be away as well.
Another third away match.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just as somebody outside looking in, I would say 1 more match for them. Maybe 1 or 2 matches, depending on. Like I said, tonight's result. It doesn't have to be a win, but it needs to be a not last minute given up goal. It needs to be if you get a lead, you need to maintain it and not give up the goal. If you don't have the lead, you need to bust your ass and get the goal.
Yeah.
And if you see that, then even if it ends in a draw, then okay, you're willing to give a pass this week, and let's look to next week because again, it's a road match, and road matches in soccer, doesn't matter what level you are notoriously difficult to actually pull victories out.
Yeah. Oh, so Carson actually has something interesting today.
What does that slacker want to know?
So
how's Las Vegas, by the way, buddy?
So he says that 7 of 8 goals came in the second half.
Yeah.
4 of those 7 came after the 80th minute. That is bad. That is bad.
Well, it's mentally checking out, and that is a
And the lack of experience as well.
and the lack of experience. But it's mentally checking out. It's players that are tired at the end of matches, and they're not able to mentally check back in.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Carson.
that needs to that's actually really good stuff. That's something that it's a coaching thing. It is coaching, but it's coaching in a way that you're trusting your players to be able to pull themselves out of that. And the problem is it's also a confidence thing too, right? Because if they're creating enough chances early on, then giving up a goal in the 80th minute, if they're up 3-0 in the 80th minute, that goal in the 80th minute doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too, is if you're going to get those chances early and you're going to pour the pressure on, like the Dynamo typically do,
yes,
then by God, you need to take those chances and you need to make the most of them. And it's not just get a goal and then you can relax. It's you need 2 to 3 goals before you can sit back and relax.
Yeah, and we've noticed it at home against Sacramento and against St. Louis. We saw some dominance from RGV in the first half and the beginning of the second half. They just were not very, very. They weren't accurate in their shooting.
Yeah,
and so they ended up only scoring 1-2 goals.
You know what?
But
that's a young player problem because that's an immaturity problem. That type of issue is an immaturity problem. Look at Morrow. Look at Elise. I mean, they're streaky.
Yeah.
But that's a young attack. That's exactly what that is. And so the results, the score lines, everything makes total sense with how this team is constructed. So then, okay, so like I said, you give them 1 to 2 more weeks. If nothing changes, then it's not so much about there's an issue with specific players. It's just, hey, we need to get this veteran attacker in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's simply what it comes down to because it changes the entire dynamic. Like you said on our show last night, look at what happened when the Dynamo would bring on Vicente for the final 15 minutes, 10 minutes of a match. I mean, the team, I don't think we surrendered goals when Vicente was on the pitch. Whereas if he wasn't on the pitch, we probably surrendered a goal or 2. I mean, it was that type of thing.
Yeah, because everybody's like for the most part, even if the Dynamo was pretty young.
Yeah.
And they tend to try to go by impulse rather than keeping it cool, controlling the ball, making sure.
Look at experienced players, experienced attackers. If you're up in the 80th minute, what does an experienced attacker do? They don't attack the goal. They take the ball to the corner.
Yeah.
And they hold it out there because you're killing time off the clock.
Yeah.
And even if you give up possession in that corner, the ball has to go to the keeper. He has to get it ready. All of the defenders have come back to cover you. So now they all have to move back up. You're wearing their offensive attackers out because they're not going to stay high up the pitch. They're coming back. So it's a...
And also there's that opportunity that when they take it to the corner, they get a foul.
Well, and not only that, there's no chance for a counterattack when you take it to the corner flag. Whereas if you take it at the goal, if you get dispossessed on the way to the goal, you now have an opportunity for a counterattack for the opposition.
Yes.
So it's a maturity thing. And some player, I don't know who it is, needs to recognize the situation of the match. And if they're up in the 79th, 80th minute, he just needs to be willing to take that ball to the corner flag and hold it and wait.
So Carson,
what did Carson the smartass say?
feel free to read the full article with Dynamo Theory. Shameless plug.
No, that's
a good plug.
Absolutely.
No, and that's where I got it from. Actually, I did read his article, which is a really good article. By the way, like always.
This when Carson writes.
Of course, obviously. And then my dad says, name of the game is concentration.
Yes.
So we're gonna go on a break right now. When we come back, we'll go ahead and analyze the starting 11 of the. That's true. We're still talking about Portland. Yeah. But honestly, that's really the only thing I want to talk about from the Portland game right now is our history against them. So we've played against.
We're going to break, bro.
It's just really quick.
Oh, okay.
So
I have a question that we can open up next.
Yes.
After the break.
Okay. So Timbers 2, we played against. Wrong thing. Here we go. We played against them 4 times. We've won 1, we've drawn 1, and we've lost 2 against them.
How many of those were in Portland?
I can get you that right now.
That's important info.
Yes. So away, we have played actually
3 away.
No. Well, this one is the one for today.
Oh, okay, 2 away, 2
Yes,
home.
2 away and
yeah,
2
we've
home.
had four games.
And away, we've beat them away before, 2-0.
Okay.
We've lost, the next time we played against them, we lost at home 1-0
Well, to be fair, that 2-0 was also our best season.
in 2016,
So,
yes.
yeah.
And then in 2017, we lost against them 2-1
So
away.
none of these have been blowouts.
No,
That's
and
good.
and then at home, it was actually we were losing, and in the last minute, Kai Green with the equalizer.
Kai freaking Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's been the history against them. Hopefully, we can actually get a win today, or a good tie, if you want to call it that. So let's go ahead and go on break. So let's go ahead and actually lead with the question that you have.
Oh, I was gonna, and it's something you're gonna have to research. So you're on the right site. How many players on RGV have yellow cards going into this match?
I will check that out right now while we're on break.
Find out.
All right. So guys, if you guys want to participate, you can participate live. Go ahead and call us, and you'll be on the show. Call us at 956.
Carson, if you're not working and you don't call in at the very least, or at least text, I'm gonna be sad, man.
Call us at 956-622-5977. Once again, the number is 956-622-5977.
It's also top right of your screen.
Yeah. So don't go away yet. We'll be right back.
Nobody said it'd be easy, but we took a train to the ceiling. And now am I on all of my feelings? Don't wake me up from this dream. I bought a one-way ticket to space. Let's get out of here. I heard you, but it's nice this time of year. Out in the wild, find our eating. Let's stay a while, never leaving. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Don't let go, I want your body around, all around, all around. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Taking off. Found you in all of the madness. I heard your voice in the static. Your skin on my skin like a magnet. I won't look down when we crash. I bought a one-way ticket to space. Let's get out of here. I heard you, but it's nice this time of year. You turn my world on its axis. Out here where anything happens. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Sound the alarm in my heart.
All right, guys. So welcome back to Down in the Valley. So before we went on break, Sean actually had brought up a good question in regards to this game that we're going to be playing today against Portland Timbers 2, which is going to be at 9 p.m. So after Down in the Valley is over, be sure to go to the ESPN Plus app. And if you haven't done so already, remember, this is the last game to get your 30-day free trial of ESPN Plus. So you can watch the game for free in the meantime. And then kind of see, hopefully you guys will be as convinced as we were in order to purchase the subscription for ESPN Plus. But it will be at 9 p.m. So don't miss that game. So you asked me about the yellow cards that RGV has so far this season, and so we look up into this into transfer market. So far we've had one yellow card for Connor Donovan, 2 for Omar Ontiveros.
Okay.
One for Derek Luke, which was this past game. One for Todd Warden, another one for Jorginho, and one for Pablo Aguilar, and that's it.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. Oh, by the way, I did not realize that Aldo Quintanilla played for or was part of Querétaro. That's interesting. Didn't know that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this game against Portland. Be sure to let us know what your predictions are going to be for today. So Sean, what's your prediction?
I don't know. Come back to me. I hadn't thought about that actually.
So I feel that Toros are going to get the win.
Okay.
And it's going to be 2-0.
Okay.
I hope that they've analyzed that they've seen that it's enough of losing these leads. We have to do something. Something was done. Take advantage. I believe they also took advantage that they actually were there a couple days prior at Portland, so they're to get used to the climate, to the environment over there. So I think that'll be helpful. One of the things I told my dad that day on Sunday was that RGV in Colorado, they arrived to Colorado Springs the day before the game.
Yeah.
So that does not give you the players enough opportunity to get accustomed
to the altitude.
Yeah, to the altitude, to the freezing cold.
Yeah, that's a big change.
And then it didn't help that this weekend it had rained the whole week.
Yeah.
Hashtag Seattle.
Yeah.
So. But he did bring up a good point in it, having to do for us who know about soccer, we know the importance of that. But
we know about soccer. This is news to me. Just kidding.
But the problem is the finances. You're talking about all these costs, to
travel costs,
and things like that. So. It's a really difficult dilemma for these Division II teams.
Yeah. Okay, so before we start going down that train, I'm going to give my prediction. Toros win 2-1, and they are trailing until the 70th minute when they tie it up. And the second goal comes in the 85th minute.
Oh, nice.
What that means is you're going to be stressed out for 75 minutes.
Definitely. So my bold prediction, we got to keep up with tradition.
Oh, of course.
All right. So my bold prediction is going to be that both goals that I said are going to be long shots by Jorginho.
Ooh. I like it. All right. Aguilar with an assist. It's not the bold prediction. Nobody would be surprised by that. Victor Garza gets the second goal. And the first goal comes off is the assist from Pablo Aguilar. And it's a Todd Wharton set-piece goal.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So speaking of Pablo Aguilar.
And it's not a header. It's a clean it up in the box goal. That's what that one is.
Although, honestly, Todd Wharton has been the free kick taker.
Well, but I'm talking corner kick.
Oh, okay.
You're like, oh, that makes sense. Set piece doesn't have to be a free kick.
I'm sorry. So anyway, guys, be sure to share this broadcast. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Go ahead and give a like as well. It helps us out a lot. So my question to you is, okay, so we know Pablo Aguilar. I kind of hinted about it yesterday as well. So do you really agree with the Houston Dynamo in the fact that they see Pablo Aguilar as more of a CDM than a number 10?
That is a loaded question. What I've seen of Aguilar, I see a midfielder, and I see an outside midfielder because his service is just incredible. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think I understand he possesses enough defensive capability and enough physicality to be a D-mid. But I think he's one of those players that I would like to see him get time at D-mid and then work him into D-mid, because if he gets that time at D-mid and he becomes, gets professional enough at D-mid and you stick him back out on the wing, now when he's tracking back on defense, he's a force on defense. Yeah,
because Jerison has been playing him through Dynamo, and I'm guessing Wilmer's orders. He's been playing him as a CDM alongside Todd Wharton.
Yeah.
and Matias Saldivar is our number 10.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I really am. I know that seems weird.
I just thought
it's
it was
not his most comfortable, most preferred position.
Exactly.
But I can understand it. Like I said, I definitely see the idea behind it.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that surprised me. Because everybody who I asked, or who told me about Pablo Aguilar, was like, oh, like he's a wonderful number 10. He's probably the player that you're looking for, things like that. And I just see now I see him playing as CDM. I mean, he hasn't done bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done good. He does have some sort of offensive tendencies sometimes to help out on the attack, But it's been the problem has been his and Todd Warden's passing accuracy. I guess it's the fact that they kind of don't gel each other yet. They're not used to how
the chemistry's not
there. The chemistry's not there. So sometimes Pablo Aguilar, by instinct passes the ball somewhere and Todd Warden is in there, or vice versa, because Todd Warden is used to having Jorginho, who doesn't really go up and attack.
Well, we see that with Eric Alexander and Darwin Sarin.
Mm-hmm.
Sarin is not a player who's used to playing, or Alexander's a player who's not used to playing next to Darwin. That's a new pairing for him.
Yeah, he's been used to playing with Cabezas.
Exactly. And Cabezas and Sarin are similar, but Sarin makes different runs. Sarin makes different, he shifts differently.
Yes.
And you do see that from time to time where Eric Alexander will make a pass and Sarin won't be there and he has to recover.
Yes.
These are goals, bad goals.
It's been the same with RGV.
Well, but that's an early season thing.
Yeah.
That's something that teams experience and they go through. It just is. It's just a fact of soccer, a fact of life. And like I said, 4 matches in, I'm willing to give them a pass on it so far. The results haven't been bad. It's not like they're losing every match.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lack of victories. It starts to make fans get frustrated, and I can totally understand that. However, they are scoring goals. It's like you said, it's the giving up the goals, or like Carson said, it's the giving up the goals at the very last minute, in the last 10 minutes. That hurts. But that is something that can be coached. That is something that can be taught. That's something that can be worked on.
Yes.
My concern is if I turn around and I look at the Dynamo, it's the complete opposite. The stuff that they're struggling with is not those coachable moments. It's not those mentality things. It's various things. And so I feel like, and this is good, I feel like RGV in that aspect is farther along than the Dynamo are in terms of writing their season.
Yes. I feel like, for example, I have seen I put pause.
You paused it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like...
Yeah. So, sometimes I've already been, on social media and people have been getting pretty, what can you say, desperate because of the lack of results.
Frustrated.
I'm frustrated, but I'm kind of understanding what's going on, that this is salvageable. Another good thing, because a lot of people say, with Gina Gonzalez, who we all know sucked, we had better results in the beginning of the season. But yeah, in the beginning of the season, then what happens when we really needed results the most?
Well, and how much were those results in the beginning of the season last year the result of Wilmer the season before, setting the team up for success?
And then they took Charlie, then they took
exactly.
Eric, and so they took the pillar of 2016 season, and that's when it all went to shambles. Whereas this season, we're talking about a USL specific team that just needs to work some kinks out.
So what's the complaint last year? The Dynamo are taking all our players. And so, it'd be better if we just had our players, even if they weren't as talented. It'd be better if we just had our players. So what did the Dynamo do this year? What have they done?
Our players.
It is USL specific players specific to RGV. And yet, what is the complaint? We don't have our Dynamo players. We want our Dynamo players. They're the talented guys. I'm sorry. I didn't say that, but it just, as, again, somebody on the outside looking in, it just makes me laugh. I'd love to see what your dad had to say to that. I'm sure you'd laugh.
But no, I see the points, that it's kind of along the lines where, no matter what the Dynamo does, we're still going to complain as long as the
so that's the funny thing is, right? That's how the Dynamo fans felt, and I was one of them, about AEG, who used to be the majority owner of the Dynamo.
Mm.
And it's because AEG also owned LA Galaxy, and so it was always this feeling of we're the redheaded stepchild. We get all the second cast off, the cast offs, the second half, the has-beens, the have-runs, and LA's getting the superstars. And I kind of feel like RGV fans are kind of like that right now. Like,
Yeah.
man, this is a crappy situation, and in reality, it's a better situation than it could be otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this like you've admitted the situation is salvageable. It's not like this thing is done and over with, and we just write the season off. Let's put the tombstone up for the season. It's over. It's done.
Yeah.
We're 4 matches into the season. This will be match number 5. Even if, God forbid, they lose tonight on a really bad goal, the season's not over. But we need to see progress.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts and that's where it ends. If you don't see progress as a fan, you're going to be frustrated to no end.
Just minimum, just the progress of fixing those mental mistakes of giving up those goals so late in the game.
You know, and one of the things I think, too, is it would be different if I think there was somebody at practices to clue us in as to how the team is practicing. You know, what specific players are focusing on in practice, what Gerson has them focusing on in practice. Is he having them focus on set pieces? Is he having them focus on, is he running them into the ground because he's trying to get them to understand that you can push your body harder than you think you can?
Mm-hmm.
You know, physical fitness at the end of the match is nothing more than mental barriers. If you can get through that final mental barrier, you're going to make it to 90. That's what professionals learn at some point.
Yeah.
And so, I think there's part of that too, is being able to know what they're focusing on in practice, and maybe that's a question for Gershon for you during the week to shoot him a quick question and ask him and find out, because and it's not like we want to know trade secrets. We just want to know what's the team focusing on during the week to better prepare based on what we've currently seen as fans the last 4 to 5 weeks. And if any coach, I feel like, would respond to that in a positive way, it's Gershon after the interview we had a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I mean, and I'll be honest, after that conversation, I feel like he's doing exactly that. Like they're working on those specific things. It's just because we don't have somebody there at practice to tell us they're working on them, we just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, I'd bet money that that's exactly what he's having to work on. That stuff.
Yeah, because I think that RG.
I would like to ask him his thoughts on getting a better attacker, though.
It'd be good to have him back on again before.
I mean, we're at 5 matches, so maybe get him on for the 6th match.
Well, before I guess I would like to get him because remember next week there's another midweek game with so I would say the one before.
You have a call.
Oh, alrighty then. All right. Welcome to Down the Valley. What's up, Ray?
Hey, how are you? Good evening.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, good evening. How are you guys?
We're good. How about you?
Good. Just listening in on the chatter you guys are having about Gerson and the results and what's not being worked on and worked upon. I'll tell you this much. One of the things that I heard from the last home game to these current matches here, I think the players have to do a lot of self-growing up to do. That's one of the things that Gerson mentioned as well, is that these players have to grow up a little bit on the mentality side in order to keep a positive result at bay, and obviously you have the 2-2 draw to Sacramento, and then the blown lead against Seattle. So those are going to be quote unquote grow up moments for this team if they're going to want to excel and get that result that they're desperately looking for. And I hope it starts tonight in Merlo Field in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, we really hope so. It's like I was telling him, it comes a time where you really have to see everything that you have done wrong, and just the fact we're granted it is just 4 matches, but it's been the same thing in each of these 4 matches. So it comes a time where something's got to give, and they have to fix their mistakes, and hopefully tonight will be that breakthrough moment.
Well, yeah, and this is towards Edson and I guess Ray as well. And this is just because I don't know, because I haven't watched all the matches or even looked at all the lineups. But has it been the same general lineup for all 4 matches?
There's been some movements here and there.
Yeah, there's been some rotations. I know Sanchez started in goal the last game versus Seattle,
Mm,
and let's just say that there was a couple of mistakes that he may have committed during the match. I didn't I saw bits and pieces of the match
yes.
myself, but I know there was a clearance error that could have potentially led to a goal, and that I saw on Twitter for uh, a fan that yelled, "Please get that guy out of goal, please give us back Corti."
You know what's funny though, and you're laughing because you're probably remembering this, but ever since the game against San Antonio, we said the same thing
Hmm.
that Matt Sanchez does not look confident at goal,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing. It's the same thing that happened in this game against Seattle. You know, pretty much pairing a controllable ball in the way of the attacker.
Yeah.
Except this time you didn't have Kyle and Connor in a position that to save you on the line.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but yeah, I see what you're getting to, Ray, and I mean it's true. And I think for the rest, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the rest of
Talking
the
to your mic.
for the rest of the players that have been rotated, they have not really been that bad. It's just the most notorious, drop in quality has been when Nico Cordy has been subbed, benched in favor of Matt Sanchez.
Yeah, and by the way, that debut for Monday at Tim, yeah, not bad, not bad. A little bit of a pace player, little bit of power in him. And just to bring up another point that you brought up the other day, uh, the Dynamo players were added to the USL roster. I'm thinking that some of those guys will eventually come down to just get conditioned. It could be for a game or two and bring them back up. I don't know what your thoughts on that will be, but that's just my 2 cents in that regard. That hey, they're gonna at one point or another assign these players, get them a couple of match fitness, and get them ready to get some. In order for the Dynamo to have some depth in their bench. Take it away.
I really would love to see mostly in the midfield. So I would say having Charlie Ward and Eric Bird. And I said last night that I would like to have Charlie Ward come off the bench in order to get that fitness because I feel like, for example, with Todd Warden, and you also have Jorginho James that have been doing decently in the central defensive midfielder. Pablo Aguilar right now he's got to get those kinks of trying to get used to this position that he's not really used to. But it's in the offensive midfielder that we're kind of lacking there because technically, I mean, even though Pablo Aguilar plays that position, you might even see that. You might even see Pablo Aguilar play in the cam position per se, and then subbing in Matias Saldivar, during the match, and have the pairing of maybe Todd Warden and Charlie Ward back in the central defensive midfielder, or might even see Eric Bird getting some minutes because in the defense, I mean, we George Malky would be sent down, but honestly, I mean George Malky would take the place of Kai Green, who hasn't been doing bad, so there's really not much of a need for him to come down. It's mostly the midfield
Well,
and the attack. I don't know what do you think?
well, I could I could actually see Malky come down because I remember during season one he would play as a part of a wingback scheme that Cabrera would have, and he would actually make the runs up the uh, up the sideline. So I can probably get see him getting some condition on that. And and as far as coming off the bench, I think that they would be more destined to play like 60 to 75 minutes in a match because to be sent down, to be holding a spot on the bench, that would not be something that I would think the Dynamo would not see, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but it's just, for me, it's just something that, since they've been there before,
It's been a
maybe it's
tendency.
just one of those things to play 60 to 75 minutes in a match.
Well,
That's just me, though.
I'll say this, Ray. When we interviewed Gerson, we actually did ask him about that actually, and his response was he would make those decisions himself, and he was given the authority to make those decisions on whether on who would play. That they would have players that would come in from the Dynamo when he would when they would send players in, but that he ultimately had the decision of whether or not to play them. He had control over the starting lineup and the substitutions. That was not dictated to him by the Dynamo. So that being the case, I don't think we can base anything on how they would handle players sent down based on previous iterations of how they've handled it, because at the end of the day, Gerson's a different coach. And while we may have seen it with Junior and we may have seen it a little bit with Wilmer, I don't know if Gerson would do that. He might, if he sees in practice that Charlie is tanking, not that Charlie ever would in practice, but let's just say he does, then I don't think Gerson would necessarily start him. I think Gerson would almost kind of use it to say, look, just because you're a professional player and you got an MLS contract, that doesn't mean you can just hoof it in practice. You got to work your butt to earn that spot. It's earning the spot.
And that's been his flag for ever since he got here. That players have to demonstrate in practice that they're ready to be the starter during the game. And just because you're from the Dynamo, or just because we were talking it also with what's his name, that young guy from the academy, Marcelo Palomino.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean that you're going to get an automatic start. You have to work for it. And if my USL players can show me that they have the hunger to be the starter more than the Dynamo player, then the USL player is going to get the start.
Absolutely. And so the point I'm just trying to make there, Ray, is that it's hard for me to go, oh yeah, man, they're going to get 70 minutes. When in reality, it very well could be Gerson looks at practice and he goes, you know what? No, my guys are putting in the same amount of effort or more. They're showing they want to keep that spot. I'm going to give them the opportunity to keep that spot. And Wilmer has shown that pressure at every position is what the Dynamo wants. So if that's what they really want, then they want that pressure. They don't want they don't necessarily care about the minutes per se. I mean, they would like to get the minutes, but they want the competition at the position. They want to see the players competing at the same level, or taking it to the next level, being pressured, being pushed. Let's see how these guys respond mentally to and psychologically to being pushed by some other player. Maybe there's a player in the attack. I don't know because I haven't watched enough RGV, but maybe there's a player in the RGV attack that he's on the edge, and a player coming down from the Dynamo pushing him for that spot. Maybe it's what he needs to get elevated to get him to that next spot, to get him to the next level. And so I think that's, I think at the end of the day, that's probably how Gershon's going to approach it. And so I wanted to throw that out at you too, to kind of keep that in perspective.
Yeah.
So who would be the players that you would like to see get minutes?
You said love. I mean, that's easy, right? That's at least in Morrow and Kyoto.
No, with
I mean, realistic. Oh, okay.
realistic.
Okay.
Let's be realistic. From the players that have been added to the USL roster that are Dynamo players.
I would say Malky, only because we haven't really seen him enough with the Dynamo to really say, okay, this guy, okay, although he has his MLS contract, maybe Malky, just given on the fact that, okay, our defensive line isn't really there yet. Maybe he could provide some of that leadership that they, in order to close out games, in order to hold on to slender leads. That's just me. Instead of, the offense is there because they've been scoring. But defensively, since they're letting in that late goal, for me, it would have to be Malky.
That's a really good observation. That might actually help.
Yeah, I could see that being beneficial. Move Kai over to the other side.
Yeah, especially the fact, and I keep on telling you that Derek Luke, because of his injury, is just too slow for the speedy players that most of these USL teams have. And we saw it against Seattle.
Yeah, and it's just funny, right? Because that's the same player we pointed out in the San Antonio match that just, it was bad.
In fact, the yellow card that he has right now was because of something like that. where he literally just grabbed his arm and did not let
He
go.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to let him get the counterattack
Yeah.
opportunity. So instead, he just took the quote unquote professional foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ray, what else do you have for us tonight?
Can we change it up a little bit and swing on over to the other side of the valley, if I may, for a few minutes?
Sure, of course.
FC Brownsville Coyotes. They are in the middle of their preseason training, per se, and loading up the exhibition schedule with another one coming up this Saturday against Deportivo Jalisco Villa del Mar. That is a select side that travels all over the valley to play the Sunday league games and even weekend games or even tournaments in the 11 versus 11 variety, an amateur side that has a couple of players from the Barracudas on that roster, which surprises me a little bit. And it's just right now it's kind of like a work in progress. They've won one, lost one, and drawn the other. And this past Saturday, they were supposed to have a match with an amateur side from San Antonio, but the team from San Antonio had to cancel out nearly at the last minute because they didn't have enough players to come down. So the Coyotes had the weekend off this past weekend, and now they're going to turn their focus to this Villa del Mar Deportivo Jalisco team.
And it's going to be at what time this Saturday?
It's going to be a 6 o'clock kickoff at Brownsville Sports Park. It's going to be it's going to be another exhibition match where the Coyotes are still trying to figure things out. They have 80% of their roster set, with about 90% of those 80% being local players already signed and ready to go, but they're just trying to look for defenders. That's what they're primarily lacking right now. They have 3 goaltenders. I expect to see the second and third goaltender to get at least 45 minutes for each. It's just going to be one of those games where you're going to see a lot of substitutions to see if Coach Martin Vela can finally muster the solid starting 11 and making sure that the midfielders and the forwards are connected and gelled to see if they can improve on the last result that they had, which was a draw against Laredo Community College.
Yeah. So what do you think so far? Because I know you've been to a couple of their matches. So do you think they're in the right direction?
I think they're going in the right direction. Defensively, they just need to clean up. They just need to polish it up on a couple of things. Despite the last home match that I attended, let's just say that I saw one of the softest penalties ever given. Maybe because it was played on a turf surface, and maybe I perceive those fouls not to be called on a natural surface. I mean, that's just me, because the Coyotes will play in Brownsville Sports Park, which is an all-turf field, and let's just say that the penalty given was like, oh boy, it's gonna be that type of season should they keep that formation. They like to play out of the 4-4-2 traditionally, and they have a nice partnership too, and they had quite a few chances on goal, and it was just a bad loss that they took in that exhibition match against Deportivo Rincon.
All right, so yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how they play this Saturday against Deportivo Jalisco. Villa del Mar.
Mhm.
Hopefully they can
Yep.
get another positive result. And you're planning on interviewing the owner, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, that's one of my plans for this Saturday after the match. Depending on how everything goes that night, I'm just I'm hoping to. I've already met the guy in person. He's a relatively young kid, and I mean young. I mean, if you met the Barracuda's ownership,
Hmm.
well, this guy is like he's a young guy. He has a lot of hope. He has a lot of aspirations of having a successful first season, and I know I know this for sure that they're going to be making a couple of trips out to Houston. If I'm not mistaken, they'll be visiting Katy for to play the Dutch Lions, and then and I want to say the Regals as well. So they're going to be heading to your part of town twice
Yeah.
as part of the road schedule.
Yeah, we'll be. I'll pay attention to that. See when they're going to be here. That way, I'll go ahead and check them out in person as well. All right. All right.
Yeah,
You got anything else you want to talk about?
no, that was just all. I mean, it was just something that I was listening to
Mm.
as I was getting ready to call in, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's gonna be one of those it's gonna be one of those games where, you know, I said it at the beginning of the season. I think the first 6 games are gonna be pivotal for the Toros, how they grow mentally. You know, right now we're 2/3 of the way there, and hopefully out of these 2 last games, they're able to put a nice result together, hopefully beginning tonight.
Yeah, we'll hope so too. All right, Ray. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate your call.
No, thank you.
And
Thank
so
you guys, and I hope to to talk to you guys next week.
sure, we'll do.
Thank you, Ray.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night, man.
Thank you guys.
No
Good
problem.
show.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, I like that sound honestly. So we're gonna be going on a break. When we come back, we're gonna go after, we're gonna talk about the starting 11. We're actually now gonna start again talking about the RGV versus Seattle match. So I'll talk start. We'll show starting
Recap.
11, yeah, and then we'll actually analyze the highlights from that game. So go ahead and stick around, don't leave, and be sure to share this live stream with your friends, with your family. Give it a like if you haven't done so already. We're 2 people watching. There's only 1 like. Come on. So,
50%. It's not really that bad.
well, that's true. You want to see it
Better
that way.
than we get with Houston Soccer Power Hour.
But that's because we're on radio.
That was a joke.
Oh.
On that note, time for a break.
All right, we'll be back. All right, guys, and we're back for the last sprint of this down in the valley episode. We hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. But now we're gonna go ahead and talk about this past weekend's game, which was the Seattle versus RGV match.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go ahead and start with our starting 11. So we did kind of touch upon it with our conversation with Ray Silva. And so on goal, we actually had Matt Sanchez on goal, who had been in the bench for the past couple of games, the past 3 games,
Mm-hmm.
because Nico Cordy was the starter.
Mm-hmm.
And so he finally got the chance to start. And you're talking about 45 seconds in, they score against you.
I saw that.
And honestly, I don't know what you say. So you say you saw the goal. So how much of that goal do you attribute it to Matt Sanchez?
Quite a bit of it, actually, to be honest. I think it was to me, there was as much positioning was bad, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like his positioning on there.
Yeah.
But, it's I can't place all of it, but like I said, quite a bit, 80, 85%, which is substantial for a goal.
And 20% of it, I see it, and we'll analyze this right now when we talk about the highlights, but I see as the defense as well, because you had 2 Seattle players inside the 6-yard box
Mm-hmm.
waiting for that cross. And that is unacceptable. Not only for the goalkeeper, but for the defenders as well, that you cannot have control of your own 6-yard box to just give them a simple, tap-in, literally, pretty much, to the goal.
Yeah.
Because
Play the highlight.
All right.
Make you figure out how to do it real quick while you're in the middle of your...
No, I got it, but so let's just
Play the highlight.
Okay. So
I can make you look like a fool. No, I'm just kidding.
seems legit. All right. So we'll go ahead and start the highlights on that. That is the field that they played in.
That's not a field. That's a drained pond, is what that is.
Yeah, but then again, it is in Washington. Okay, so here it is. All right. So we see right here we have. All right. Okay, my whiteboard is on. So you have your 4 defenders right here. This is Derek Luke. Obviously, he's way too up high for my tastes. And look at all this space that he has given this
Kyle
Seattle
Adams
attacker.
there is turned the wrong way.
Yeah. I did not notice that until now that you told me. But yes, Kyle Adams is turned awkwardly in a position so he'll lose a lot of time trying to turn around.
Well, and not just that, but that frees up the guy that you've got that you had circled and you were showing the direction
Derek
to run. Not Derek. I was talking about the Seattle guy.
Oh, him.
It frees him up to run on the blind side of Kyle Adams, and
Yes.
it leaves him with an open lane. And if you have another, and Kyle may be looking there. The problem is Conover needs to tell Connor Donovan needs to tell Kyle right here, hey man, I got the guy coming. Kai's got the guy coming. I've got the guy with the not the guy with the ball, but there's a guy behind you. Hey, head up, type of thing. They need to have some communication there.
Yeah, because he's got the field of vision right there. To see what you're trying. Why is it not working out?
Man,
Look at that. So that's his field of vision right there. He's seeing.
Is that Todd Wharton chasing right there?
Him? Yes. Yeah, that's Todd Wharton
Where's
chasing.
where's Arsenio James or
He did not play.
or Aguilar?
That is not Aguilar.
No, I know. I'm saying where's Aguilar?
I don't see him honestly because I think.
So that's starting to make me wonder a little bit. Where's everybody else? How high were they pushed up? Was this a counterattack? Because I didn't see anything other than
this was pretty much the first play.
Okay,
So
this was right off the kick.
Yeah. So the ball was in the back.
That's not good.
So the ball was in the back, and then all of a sudden they just pushed up, and so let's go ahead and continue this play. But yeah, I did. It is worrisome that I do not see Pablo Aguilar. But then again, the resolution really isn't that great on YouTube.
But I can see all the white jersey. It's not like I'm
trying to see the number of this guy,
looks
but
like 10.
So this is Pablo Aguilar, but even then, he's too far high up.
Well,
because this is look at the line that Todd is.
Your second Z mid should be tracking back faster than that, That's not a good look at all.
Yeah.
Bad free string for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, there are two players currently doing their job appropriately. Kai, who's within reach of his offensive player, and Connor Donovan, who
he's tracking back.
He's tracking back, but he's also looking the direction where the ball is and can see that entire side of the pitch. The only thing I would say that maybe would be Kyle Adams' saving grace here is the fact that all the attackers are on the side he's looking at. He only has one attacker coming on his inside. But if the guy with the ball here, and again, I've seen the highlights, if the guy with the ball, if he tracks to the blind side of Kyle Adams, that's two players on the blind side, and you have the three other attackers, but that means Kyle's going to turn around, which happens in the play. Kyle's going to turn around to try to see who's coming on his blind side, and that's going to free up, you've got three guys coming to him, and it's just not a good look at all. Yep, see blind side.
Yeah.
All right, so you got 5 defenders in the box.
Mm-hmm.
2 Seattle's, 1, 2, 3, 4,
and 5. That's 5.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Yeah,
5 defenders.
And you have 3 inside the box.
No.
3 Seattle attackers, and then 1 outside. 1, 2, 3 inside the box.
Your second one. Are you sure there's not a third attacker there behind Todd Wharton? Maybe.
Yeah, I did say 3. I did say 3,
yeah.
and then 1 outside the box.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's 1 trailing outside the box. Yeah.
But see, you talked about this, and the ball went through, through this whole space that we mentioned.
Yep.
That Derek Luke had left behind.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Because of the way that the defenders are currently lined up, and because Aguilar was so high up the pitch. And Wharton has no choice but to help cover the 3 guys that are in the box close to the 6-yard box, right?
Yes.
So if Wharton's having to cover those guys, then and part of that is Kyle Adams too, because Kyle Adams.
Look where he is. He's covering where Derek Luke should be.
Yeah, where the heck is Derek Luke?
He's inside here. He's somewhere around here, and I believe it's him.
Okay.
So, yeah. From Kyle Adams being, looking at, position in the wrong side.
To be fair, Kyle did exactly what he should have done. He recovered it once he understood what was going on with the play. And so credit to him for that.
Yes.
Credit Connor, because Connor is exactly where he should be. He's covering the guy in the middle of the box. The problem is if Derek Luke is in there, that jacks with Connor Donovan, because Connor is like, okay, is Derek covering this guy? What is he doing? Really, Derek should be coming out and helping Kyle Adams cover the guy outside instead of just hanging out. That almost, to me, looks like Derek Luke has no clue where he's supposed to be.
Or here.
Or maybe not there. Maybe he comes out centrally and lets Todd Wharton come out wide to cover the guy trailing in. But regardless, that's
because look at all of the space right here that they're going to take advantage of.
Yeah. I don't like the positioning there for the goalkeeper. It doesn't look as good as it could be there to me. But
definitely.
That's neither here nor there.
So it's going to continue to play. Look. Remember where that space, that circle?
Yep.
That's exactly the place where the ball went.
Yeah. And
that's where.
And look what happens here. Look who's not marking anybody in the box right now. Derek Luke.
Yeah.
Look where Luke is.
Right here.
And if he had come out instead of standing there, he wasn't covering anybody to begin with. If he had started coming out, he could have applied pressure there already.
Yeah.
So that and that's not Todd Wharton. That's Aguilar. Would not have had to come and try to cover for it.
Yes, exactly. Because Todd Wharton is right here by the penalty spot.
And that's where he should go. Mm-hmm. The problem is Aguilar was a little slow getting back, but at the same time, Derek Luke should have had to cover.
Yeah,
this falls on Derek Luke.
Yeah, if Derek Luke was not going to be in his position where Kyle Adams is, then he should have at least covered this spot.
Correct. He should have came out to the player to apply the pressure.
Yes, because right now you have all of this space in between the ball and Derek Luke that gives him an opportunity to. And this time he did it in the first touch, but which made it worse because
thing, right. So if Derek Luke comes out, that lets Connor Donovan slide to near post. That lets Todd Wharton come back and cover the other guy there, and that means you have Aguilar and Derek Luke on the guy shooting the ball.
Yes.
Instead of, in whatever. It's just.
And he probably would not have tried to go with the first touch because he already knew.
It was a bad decision.
Yes.
I wanted to say goalkeeper, and I mean, I still don't like the goalkeeper. goalkeeper's position here. He could have, but to his credit, he had 2 defenders in front of him. They should really be covering it, but
take a look at this.
Yeah, I
as well.
saw the runners in the backside.
Look at these runners. There's nobody in between them and the goal.
Well, to be fair, no matter what happened, they were going to be. I mean, Connor Donovan's in the way of the first guy, but he's not going to be able to man mark 2 guys.
Exactly.
And so that's the problem, though, when Derek Luke tracks inside instead of tracking his guy outside, is that pulls Kyle Adams out, which means that you don't have your 2 big guys covering in the box.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and continue this play. But yeah, this is in the 45th second, and we're already seeing all of these mistakes. So it continues, first touch.
Easy,
yeah. He's just waiting there to head the ball in. So
is that Nkudu or whatever his name is?
I'm trying to remember his name. Yeah, and look at the. You're thinking of something, aren't you?
Rewind that back for me to right before the replay. Okay, so here's what causes this goal. Connor Donovan was not marking anybody. Derek Luke's not marking anybody, but whatever, he's on the right side.
Todd Wharton isn't marking anybody technically either.
Yeah, Todd Wharton should have came a little farther back. Here's the problem I see, though. Because Connor Donovan's not marking anybody, that guy would have been offsides if Connor Donovan had taken a step forward. Because Kyle Adams is far enough forward that the guy would have been offsides.
Yes.
Kai Green is far enough forward, the guy would have been offsides.
So is Derek Luke.
He kind of is half is, half not. He's kind of close.
No, he does. He does have. He is ahead of Connor Donovan.
Oh yeah, okay, a little bit.
Yeah,
and that, I mean.
So basically, where his left foot starts is where Connor Donovan's right foot is.
Yeah. So the guy would have been offside. So Connor needed to step, and Connor should have fought the guy off for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Connor didn't make a play on the ball, and it's just. Yeah, it was a good cross. It was good service in.
Yeah, but these little mistakes did not help at all.
Yeah, no, that's a goal that you should not absolutely. Well, okay, so rewind it back one more time.
Okay, sure.
So this falls on the keeper also as much as it does the defender here. So why does the keeper not come out and just knock that ball away from the guy? Because that's not Cordy. That's
Matt Sanchez.
Why does Sanchez not go knock the ball out from the guy? As soon as it's hit, he hesitates. He's trying to get in position, but he's not moving towards the ball. And look, he came up, and then he had to track back.
Yes.
You see that?
That curve.
That is the bad positioning that I was talking about.
And the lack of confidence that he has in himself as a goalkeeper.
Because, if he's going to go ahead and come out on it, he just needs to come out. He needs to clear the other guy out.
Yes.
Be willing to just take it and go for it, and don't worry about what's going to happen. Because when you second guess yourself as a keeper, especially on service into the box, this is what happens: a goal.
Yeah.
So as a keeper in the box, you just got to have the confidence, and you know what? Just go for it. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But if you second guess yourself and you make a mistake, that's bad. If you just go ahead and make the mistake, that's better.
Yeah.
Because at least you've committed one way or the other.
Definitely.
He has not committed at this point to anything, and that's the problem.
Yeah, so that was Chenkam's first goal of the day, and but
we can skip to the next one now.
Yeah. So next we're going to be analyzing. This is the play where RGV ties the game in the first half. Let's just wait for these guys to continue celebrating and stuff.
You could just fast forward a bit.
Yeah. No, went too far. All right.
You should mark these next time.
I do have it marked.
All right, that's what the little bubbles are?
Yes.
That's dirty.
That was Callie Brown on goal.
That was dirty. That was a good tackle, but that was dirty.
Yeah. Here's one of the things also that my dad was telling me. That fight for Saldivar to not give up on the ball, because you would never think, number one, that the goalkeeper's going to take as long as he did to try to clear that ball away, and number two, very few attackers would dare to slide.
Yeah,
because if they slide and the goalkeeper just kind of jukes them, they look like fools.
Yeah,
But so
well, and it's not even so much that, but I mean, if he misses a few inches the other direction, he could be taking his career into his hands.
yeah.
I mean, it's a dangerous. To be fair, most referees are going to call that because it's a dangerous slide.
Mhm.
Regardless that he got the ball, it's still a dangerous tackle.
You think so?
I do. I think that probably actually should have been a foul. But
Mm.
now I could say this: it doesn't have to be called a foul, but it should have been a yellow card because it's a reckless play. But a yellow card does not necessarily negate the fact that he got the ball. The yellow card is just it was a reckless play. That's all.
I think at least just a talking to.
A warning, maybe.
Yeah,
a warning.
I think a warning because I think a yellow would be kind of too extreme.
Yeah.
Because he did go clean before the ball. And I mean, the goalkeeper with the ball at his feet is pretty much another player.
Yeah. No. You're right.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper Callie Brown leaves himself very exposed. You know what? That actually rewind that back real quick, just a sec. That's way too far for a second. Oh, well, it's so good.
Yeah, so Callie, what I'm seeing, he's trying to look for somebody out in the midfield to get open out on the wing, and he really takes his eye off Matias Saldivar, who's coming in pretty much from his blind side, and by the time he realizes the ball he's already slid and taken dispossessed him of the ball. So, you got anything else to add?
Double tap it.
That was all clean. That was all clean.
Freaking reckless challenge, though. That's a freaking reckless challenge. I don't care how much an RGV fan you are. That's a reckless challenge. A referee at MLS level is going to whistle that a foul every time. Because it's not just about getting the ball. You can get the ball and still commit a foul.
I don't see it
It's
reckless
still a foul.
because
It's still a foul. He takes his legs out from under him. It's not a foul. If Cordy had that happen to him, you would be throwing a freaking hissy fit.
No, I'd be throwing a hissy fit at Cordy for getting himself in that.
You'd be pissed off just as much as
No, trust me, no. I'd be like, why would you expose
well, the thing
yourself
is, it's never
to
going to
that?
happen to RGV, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, that's a reckless challenge.
Honestly, I would see that if Matt Sanchez were on goal. I would see
it
this
could
happening.
But it's
Yeah. But no, that was all clean and.
I mean, you could tell by how Callie got up. He thought that was a foul. He was not. He definitely thought that was a foul. But I digress.
All right, so this is in stoppage time in the 45th minute.
Yeah.
This is Kai Green, and this is Victor Garza right over here, and he's gonna pretty much run through the whole wing. Let's go ahead and continue. I hate this sometimes. There we go.
I may not even make it to the.
Look at that.
You mentioned this, right? It was a good pass.
Yeah, and the other thing is that Victor Garza, going back with his experience, he juked not juked, but like he let the ball go through his legs and pretty much got himself.
Yeah. It was a creative but albeit veteran move.
Now, if you notice here as well, you see this center back, he loses his
Who's
step.
this guy out left?
This is Chuy Enriquez.
I love that he is pointing where he wants the ball.
Yes.
I love that. Because that's an attacker that has confidence enough to say, give me the freaking ball where I want it, and it's going in the freaking net.
Yeah. So
That's
he
great.
has that confidence in himself and that power to keep on pushing. But like I said, look at the CB, how he lost his footing. Guillermo Delgado is going to take advantage of that to run inside of the box.
Yeah, that's also veteran.
Yeah. Even though he's not really that much of a veteran, actually.
No, but it doesn't take much experience to exploit those kind of things.
So let's go ahead and continue this play.
I mean, he didn't. He just kept running straight. He didn't veer away or anything. He just ran straight.
But
you made it sound like he was veering in a different direction or something. He kept going straight.
No, but what I'm saying is like he took advantage of the lost footing of the CB, and look at all the space that he has in front of him.
Well, I think right here you're about to see Seattle's their line is trying to take a step forward. Although the guy out wide is just looking at it. He looks really dumb right now. I didn't know Derek Luke also wore green.
Wow. Savage. Just take a look. All right, whatever. That was an extra one. But that cross, though. That cross.
An own goal?
No, that was all Guillermo. That was all Guillermo Delgado.
Not far enough.
Not far enough.
Here you go. Let it run. You don't need to pause it. Stop pausing.
It's the
feed thing.
It's the marks I put in. Yeah, that was all Guillermo Delgado.
Oh, that CB looks so bad.
Yeah,
That was
that was Guillermo Delgado, the Spaniard.
solid goal. Solid
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is that it wouldn't have mattered if it went to the center forward or the other guy. They were both wide open.
yeah. And then this is in the 65th minute. Now, I do want to point this out. This is going to be Seattle's second goal. But the thing that pissed me off when I was looking at the highlights, this player right here, this one, the one who feels like he committed a foul or something, referee said to play on. Instead of playing on, he turns back and he's arguing with the ref. Meanwhile, this player just takes advantage and just continues on with the play.
Yeah. Look at all the Seattle players that are going to keep going, I'm sure. Oh, okay. Well, he's the only one that keeps going, but still.
Yeah. And then that pass, and he's just going to go in between Kyle Adams and Connor Donovan.
Oh, hey, look. Derek Luke's too far forward again.
All right, let's see that. Yep. You're right.
He didn't react very well to that either.
There's Derek Luke right there.
You know, you can always tell, right? Because all you have to look to see where Derek Luke should be is where Kai Green actually is in terms of the line.
Yes.
If Kai Green is forward, then Derek Luke should be forward. If Kai Green's back like he is right now, I mean, that's a whole line level difference. Derek Luke is currently level with a D mid, whereas Kai Green is maybe one step in front of his CBs, maybe one step.
There's a complete disconnect between both wings.
Yeah.
So
it looks like a 3-man back line right now. Looking at this gap right here, it looks like a 3-man back line. Oh, that hurts, man. That hurts.
It's a 3-man back line, but because they don't technically they're supposed to be playing as a 4, they're not positioned how a 3-man back line should be. So that's why
they're expecting Derek to be further back.
Yeah. And that's there's so many plays where we see Derek Luke completely out of position. So, that it just irritates me, that he's the starter,
Yeah.
and he's making all these mistakes that are costing us on the defense.
Maybe that's why they're trying to get Richard Peralta.
That's true, actually. Or we might see George Falke.
Yeah. Essentially.
So let's go ahead.
I'd say you're more likely to see Richard Peralta then.
That is, if it even is true.
Okay. Ooh, center back's got beat too. Ooh,
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, and just the.
Oh, that was ugly. Man, you're hurting me with that highlight. You know what? That's an end of the half. I've checked out of the match type of goal. That's exactly what that type of goal is. Because, I mean,
that bad?
There were so many opportunities to slow that play down, to stop that play. I mean, or into the second half. So, I mean, just why not stop the play? Just take the foul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, at that point, this guy's running through you. Just take the foul, slow the play down, let your players get back. So that's another thing, too, right? That's a veteran, something you learn over time, something you learn from playing the game for many years. Sometimes it's okay to take the foul to let your defense recover.
Yes.
And in that particular instance, if Derek Luke's going to be that out of position, if Aguilar's not far enough back, take the foul.
Now, remember that Derek Luke already had a yellow.
Yes, I'm not expecting Derek to do it. I'm talking about the CB. One of the CBs could have gone ahead and made the foul.
Todd Warden, look where Todd Warden is.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you rewound it back further, you would have seen that any of the attackers that were near him originally could have gone ahead and taken the foul right off the bat.
Yeah.
If you see a player is arguing, go ahead and take a foul because you know what? That's going to slow the play down. At the very least, it's going to let you get a chance to yell at your guy to get the hell back.
Pablo Aguilar had the opportunity right there.
Yeah. And I wouldn't expect Pablo Aguilar to make that decision.
But then, look, either Pablo Aguilar or Todd Warner, who's right here as well.
Todd Warden really should have been the one to make the foul.
Yeah, he needs to get that experience as well to know when to have that tactical foul.
Exactly.
In order to help out his defensive, especially if he starts seeing that they're not well positioned.
Yep.
Yeah. So then this is the last goal.
You sure you really want to watch this one again? The answer is no, but sometimes you have to.
So the attacker decides to take the shot from outside the box. But my question is, look where Kai is. Look where Kai is. And look at this attacker right here, the 16-year-old,
Mhm.
all alone, and the ball just goes towards his direction just to tap it in. I feel like maybe that Kai should have watched his back, or for starters, it should be Matt Sanchez's. He's a goalkeeper. He's watching everything in front of him to tell him that there's somebody behind him that's left unmarked.
Absolutely. Well, this is something I see, and I don't know if you can see this. There's a player, a Sounders 2 player, top right of your top of your screen. You see him?
This one?
I don't know. You're not marking. Yeah, that one right there. He's completely unmarked.
But he is offside, though.
Is he when the ball's played? Are you sure?
Let's go ahead and check.
Because I don't think he's offside when the ball's played. I think he was level when the ball was played. It's just, yeah, he's level when the ball's played.
The ball's played.
He's level. He's currently level because look where Kai is. He's currently level.
Maybe at the
He's
spot.
close enough. He's level.
Yeah.
Kai goes to the runner. He's level. My point though is look how many defenders there are at the top of the box and how many are not in the box. If you're not going to play an offside line, get your ass back in the box so you can help cover and protect.
You have 4, 5 players.
Move it forward 2 or 3 frames and watch what happens.
Sure.
It's a double tapper. Right there. You got a guy that fell down. You have 5 Toros players at the top of the box. And Kai Green by himself. How do you have 3 Toros players at the top of the box and they've stopped?
Yeah.
They're not tracking back anymore. They've stopped. As soon as the shot went, they stopped playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is you play until the goddamn whistle. Sorry. That pisses me off when I see players do that. You play until the freaking whistle goes. And it's the 81st minute, and you know you give up goals late. Stop giving up mental errors. You gotta go for it. So put in the effort.
All right. So just quickly, Omar says, "Saludos. Hey, I might not be up to date with everything RGVFC, but once that center back left number 5."
Your dad and I disagree on what a foul constitutes foul.
He says that center back left number 5. Don't know his name. The defense has been looking extremely vulnerable. That left center back number 5.
Was that Ibiaga?
No, I think he's talking about Kai Green actually, even though he's actually number 2. Are you talking about Omar? If you're still there, are you talking about the left or the right back?
No. He's talking about
or Seattle's.
No, he's talking about a center back that left from last season. Number 5. Who was number 5? Last season?
I think he's talking about no, because Taylor Hunter was number 26. I think
Kevin Garcia? Was Kevin Garcia 5? Who was 5?
I think, you know who? I think it was Robbie Sagel.
Yeah, that's who he was talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's go ahead. And that's pretty much the end. All of the more important highlights of this past game.
Lowlights?
Yeah, I guess you can say.
Keeper still should have had that. He didn't need to just tap that away.
Yeah, but going back,
regardless, it still isn't.
But I mean, going back, it's just like he does not have, and it's sad because I figured that he would have the most.
Hey, we're an hour from kickoff. You want to see if they've released lineups?
Sure. Well, I just feel like maybe he does. He was the one that technically should have more pedigree. Because he is the starting goalkeeper for Puerto Rico, and right now, and you're talking about that a player fresh out of college has had better performances than.
But it's Puerto Rico, so I mean.
Well, I get what you're saying, but still, he's got.
No, Cordy looked better than him even in preseason, and if it was me, Cordy would be the starting goalkeeper, And the one thing I see from Cordy is he just needs to command the back line more. Mm-hmm. He needs to just go ahead and be willing to be the vocal leader back there.
Yeah.
And I say that to say that at his age,
he's talking about Magales. Ivan
Ivan, yeah. I'm sad we lost him actually.
Well, he's the one that he's talking about that he was glad that he's gone.
Yeah. Oh no, he said he was glad he was gone.
Yeah, he said one. Oh no,
No, he's saying the other way around. He's saying
he
he's
says,
sad
but
he's
once,
gone.
yeah, he says, don't know his name. The defense has been looking extremely vulnerable since he left.
So about the keepers, I'm good with Cordy, and here's why. He's young, and he has a chance to adapt to his mistakes and learn and grow from them. I feel like when it comes to Sanchez, there's no progression. And his mistakes aren't their confidence and mental and all that, which you could technically work on.
Yes.
But there's also some other issues going on there that they're just a goalkeeper that doesn't have it, in my opinion. That's what I see. And that's probably why Cordy beat him out. Yeah. And so, I
think what worries me is the mentality that Jerson's he's gonna continue to rotate these goalkeepers. And
I think he will until one of them gets a hot hand. Until one of them gets a clean sheet, and then he's gonna stick with that goalkeeper for a while.
I hope so.
I think you'll see that. And I think Cordy's bound to get a clean sheet. But those are defensive errors. To be honest, those defensive errors remind me of the Owen Coyle era here in Houston.
You cannot say his name in the Houston area anymore.
No, I can.
Well,
because it was an era, but it was still an error.
I mean, but still, like
I know.
Boils. Yeah.
But they're mental errors. They're things that defenders should be able to recover from. They're things that, unfortunately, what happens though is they're confidence killers for your team. Because you're giving up easy, soft goals. Yes. And so, it's different when you're giving up tough, hard goals and, they're good goals by the opposition. You go, okay, hey, we got beat. But when you get beat by soft goals, it's, man, we lost. That's what the mentality difference, right? It's, man, we lost that game. We gave that game to them. And that's what I see there.
Yeah. So that's going to be, that's what happened against Seattle. And so today we're playing against Portland, and then next Wednesday we're playing against Orange County SC. And so just quickly, how they have been.
I thought we weren't allowed to have another Orange team in the league. I'm just kidding. I thought we at FC Cincy had it locked up. We had it on lockdown.
Well, here's the thing: the Orange County really doesn't play in orange. They play in black and white. Sure.
What's their third color? Is it orange?
They don't have a well. It's their highlights. So basically, their home kit, their home kit is black, and the Adidas stripes are orange.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. So Orange County has played, looks like 6 games. They've played 6 games so far. Their next game is going to be until the 25th.
Oh, they are not very good.
So they tied 1-1 against Phoenix Rising. Then they lost 1-0 against Sacramento.
Crap.
They beat Tulsa.
5-0 Tulsa?
Well, this year Tulsa has been a dumpster fire. I believe they're last place.
But they 3-0'd San Antonio.
San Antonio.
I know they're not that great. They're not that good this year really at all. Yeah. But it's still you 3-0 the team, you 5-0 the team. It doesn't matter how good the team is. You 5-0 the team. You destroyed them.
And so right now it looks. I think Orange County's at the top of the table.
I like
They're
their.
4-1-1.
I really like their stadium name too. OC Gear Park. No, OC Great Park. That's even better.
Orange County Great
It's
Park.
a great name.
So then they beat OKC Energy 1-0, then 5-0 against Tulsa at their home, nonetheless. Mm-hmm. Then they at home they defeated LA Galaxy 3-0. Then they defeated this Saturday 3-0 at San Antonio's home at Toyota Field.
They are on fire. They've lost 1 match.
And that was just against Sacramento, which has been really good.
1 draw.
Yeah.
Against Phoenix.
Yeah, and you're talking about good teams. You're talking about a Phoenix.
Yeah.
With
so they beat OKC, they beat Tulsa, they beat
LA Galaxy 2,
they beat San Antonio FC.
And then next Wednesday,
I would be completely happy with a draw against OC right now. The form they're on?
Yes.
Yeah. So see, you're starting to realize. Wait a second. Maybe a victory is going a little bit far on this. I mean, it'd be great if you could pull out a victory, but also at the same time, when a team's on that kind of form, accepting a draw is okay in this case.
Yeah, no, definitely. So hopefully we can actually get a win today. We need to take advantage of today. But I think that's just me being very.
I mean, a win is
Optimist.
always possible. You never know what you pull out of your bag of tricks.
Yeah.
But you're just looking for progression week over week.
Yes, Jacob, they are first in the West, Orange County.
Oh, he says he's going to be there.
Yeah, he'll be there, and I think
Is he tweeting? Are you going to be tweeting, Jacob? It's going to take him a while to respond.
Yeah. So if it's not Jacob, it'll probably be Ray. He'll be there as well. So there'll be live tweets happening during the OC game, and then the next home game will be the San Antonio match. And that one is in May, the beginning of May, and I'll be there for that one. I'll cancel everything here and I'll head over there because I cannot miss the San Antonio Derby.
Is that a May 5th match?
No, it's not a May 5th match. It's let me tell you exactly what day it is. So they're playing. It is the. No, that's too far away.
That's the 27th, bro. You got that mixed up.
Is it?
No, 27th. Whoa, that's September.
No, that's
24th.
no. That's
last year. That's 2017.
Okay, here we go. So
May 3rd. I was close. That's not that. No.
That's Reno. That is the Reno.
So it's the week after Reno. So then it's probably the 10th or 11th.
I believe.
It's probably the 11th or 12th because the 11th is Friday.
Yeah. Let's make sure. I honestly, when it comes to like schedules,
you're still looking at Orange County, bro.
I know. I'm gonna click on.
Why is that 60?
That's there we go. All right. So Rio Grande will be playing Orange County the 25th. Then on May 2nd, they're playing the postponed match against Reno 1868. Then on the 9th, they will be playing Fresno FC at Fresno, and then they'll come back at home the 12th against San Antonio.
3 days rest. Oh, that's rough.
That's gonna be rough.
That's rough. Oh man, that's rough. That's all I can say. That's rough.
Yeah, because you're talking about a trek to the West Coast.
Well, have fun at that match. I wish I could go. I already got plans. Otherwise, I'd go. Have fun at that one. I credit to me. I went to a San Antonio RGV match, even if it wasn't San Antonio.
And it was preseason.
And preseason. That's dedication right there, man.
Yeah.
That's dedication. And I wore a San Antonio scarf. Only because I got a free one. So.
And Jacob says he could be able to live tweet from
awesome.
the
Thanks, Jacob.
game.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, you have anything else you want to add? I think that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go ahead and check if they've updated.
I don't think they have yet.
Because right now it is 8:45.
Yeah, I know.
We are 15 minutes away.
Well, technically kickoff's not until 9:30, so.
Yeah, no, nothing yet. I wonder. Let's check Portland Timbers 2.
Yeah.
There we go. Because I know last week Seattle.
There it is.
Okay. So starting 11 for Portland Timbers 2 against Rio Grande Valley XC, they'll have Kendall McIntosh.
Arboleda. Yikes.
Yeah.
Espria?
Jimmy Mulligan, Julio Castante.
Is that the same Espria that I'm thinking of?
Dairon Aspirilla?
Oh, okay, that's the other Espria.
No. Jimmy Mulligan, Julio Castante, Modu Jadama, Lamar
Arboleda and
Batista.
Ebobise. Man, that is a scary, scary, scary front line.
Eric Williamson, Renzo Zambrano, Dairon Aspirilla, Foster Langsdorf, Victor Arboleda, and Jeremy Ebobise.
I love their names. I just want to throw that out there. These are great names. Langsdorf, Jadama.
That sounds like something from
Cascante.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Cascante. No, that Cascante sounds like a Pirates of the Caribbean pirate name. Cascante. They called me Cascante.
That's a good one. But
we need to start looking at these ahead of time, just the rosters, and start coming up with these types of jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, the fun we could have.
Definitely. So,
May
guys.
12th. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, May 12th. So, thank you, guys. I think that's it for today's episode.
Fun.
Yeah, because we gotta prepare ESPN Plus on the TV so we can watch the Toros game.
I think it's probably going to be through your laptop.
Yeah, more than likely. So thank you all for joining us this episode. Thank you all for participating there in the chat.
And hey, if you're watching, do us a favor and just during the week, send in questions during the week. It doesn't have to be only the day that he's going to record.
Yeah. Or if you're listening to this via the podcast.
Yeah, send in questions as you think of them, and engaging with you guys on Twitter during the week or on social media via Facebook during the week. Even in YouTube comments during the week. It's a fun thing. Like, that's something that's enjoyable to do during the week, and so. Engage during the week. It's worth it, trust me. And, sometimes some of those questions end up on the air during the week, too.
Yeah, definitely. So until next time, before I go, actually.
Until next time, before I go.
Okay, so during the week, they reached out to me, members of the St. Luligans. So one of their members.
It almost sounded like you said it's the Satan hooligans.
No,
Luligans. I realized what you said.
The St. Luligans. So one of their members is actually battling leukemia.
I saw that.
But he has a goal that he wants to collect 100 balls and give them to kids that are battling cancer in the St. Louis region. And so he's asking for donations. So I will be tweeting out the thread where they describe how it works, where you can actually purchase the soccer ball on Amazon, and how you can have it delivered to him, and he'll give it to the kids in need. It's a really good cause, and like I said, we always say we're enemies for 90, but we're united by soccer.
Dang straight.
Yeah. So, having said this, be sure to also follow us if you don't already on Twitter at DownInTheRGV. Check out our website, downintheRGV.com. Proudly hosted by Embrace Fusion, which is his company right here.
Mm-hmm.
And be sure to also check out, subscribe.
I don't have enough already going on my playlist. Thanks. Not that I would ever turn away business, but just FYI.
So be sure to subscribe on Google Play Store, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So whenever the podcasts come out, you'll be able to listen to them on your car, on your phone, when you're exercising and things like that.
And remember, ESPN Plus, today is the last day for your free 30-day trial.
Exactly. And be sure to also follow our friends at the Beautiful Game Network. Be sure to follow them on Twitter at the BGNFM. And check out their website at www.bgn.fm. And while you're there, check out all of the other USL podcasts like the Backchat Show, the Sock Takes, and Rising as One, and all the other USL podcasts. Quite high quality stuff. Highly recommend it.
And make sure you follow Houston Soccer Power Hour. It's at Soccer Power or at
Soccer Power Hour. Yes.
On Twitter. That name is definitely changing at some point. It's just not.
We're ironing out details right now.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We're wrinkled laundry being ironed out right.
So thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we'll see each other next week. Take care.
Somos toros.
We are toros, and technically still forever orange.
Always forever orange.
Hell yeah.